Certainly need plenty of food and water.
Jonathan Head reporting. Well, with me is Khin, who's president of the Burmese Rohingya organisation here in Britain. They are seen as a sort of Muslim stateless group, aren't they? Just explain a bit of the recent history about the Rohingya and why they are fleeing.
Well, if you look at the history, Rohingya people are facing persecution of many decades now, more than 4 to 5 decades. But after President Khin Singh government in power, I should say so-called reformer anti-Rohingya campaign has spread up, and a state-organized ethnic cleansing was created in 2012. 140 to 60,000 Rohingya become IDPs, internally displaced persons. And their humanitarian aid was blocked, and people have no safety and security at all in our own country. Restriction of movement, marriage, education, confiscation is continuing.
I think they're kept in camps, or they are in camps which are almost impossible to get into from the outside world. They lost their statehood, I think, back in 1982, didn't they? What do the Myanmar authorities want to happen to them? I mean, are they encouraging them to flee?
Well, if you look at the situation, the government have systematic policy to drive out the Rohingya out of Burma. This is the way they are moving forward. And, like, as I mentioned earlier, 140 to 60,000 IDPs, they blocking of aid and there's some, the aid is not enough, some areas, and the government knows the situation. The government policy is first denying citizenship and imposing restriction of movement, marriage, and then they put in camps to us. Now the last stage is whether you want to stay in camps without food or you want to leave the country.
And how much of this is to do with those clashes, the violent clashes in 2012 between Rohingya and Buddhist groups?
Well, if you look at this, it's been actually, government have created this plan. It's not between Rohingya and Rakhines, actually, Buddhist group. The government have policy, to create these kind of clashes, and the government is behind the scene, and that's why this is happening, and that's why people are leaving from the country.
And what explains the mass exodus now? Because the numbers are double what they were last year. Has something happened on the ground in Myanmar to actually sort of be a catalyst for this?
Well, if you look at current situation on the ground, the government is more stronger because what we can see, international community is not doing enough to stop persecution against Rohingya by President Khin Singh government. So the government is encouraging and the government is pushing more ahead, restriction of movement, marriage. Rohingya cannot go for work, they cannot go for fishing, they cannot go to the,
so they've lost their fishing rights, and which denies them any economics.
Denial of every rights what they had in even last time a few. This all gone these days. So this is the way the government has been doing, for a long time.
All right. Okay. We must leave it there. But Khin, thank you very much indeed for joining us on the